All right, y'all. We are back. It's your boy G, along with Alec. Another great episode of Texas 300. Appreciate you guys for tuning back in with us. As you guys can see, today we have a very special guest. Ranch photographer Jeff Lewis has joined us today. Thank you so for joining us. Excited to talk with you.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. And in just a moment, we're going to jump into it. But as you guys know, make sure you guys follow us online everywhere. IG and TikTok at Section.300. Follow us on Twitter at Texting the Sports and all that good stuff. And excited to talk to Jeff. We got a whole lot of fun stuff to get into. So let's get rolling. All right, and we are here again. We were blessed today to be joined by Mr. Jeff Lewis, who's a photographer for the Rams, and does a lot of things, not just with the Rams. He just all over LA and things, running around doing his thing there. And we definitely appreciate you joining us today. Just to start off, actually, I want to start with the Rams. I'll admit, what do you think of the team this year and all their ups and downs they've been going through so far?
Well, the Rams are an interesting team where we're coming off of a Super Bowl win, and you don't want to use the word Super Bowl hangover. I don't think that's the right word, but we're definitely looking to run it back. The thing is, when you win a Super Bowl or you become really good, and this is for any NFL team, everybody's gunning to beat you. You are the date that gets circled on everybody's calendar. And so you're playing 17 marquee big games a year. And it's different where if you look at a team like, not necessarily Buffalo because they have a target on their back, but let's say Philadelphia. Philadelphia right now has a very good record, and a lot of teams sleep on them early because they are not the contenders that they coming into the season. They don't have a ring. They don't have a chip. They don't have anything. So what you're going to find is that they could go 9 or 10 games without losing, and before you know it, have the experience and the swagger to run, to make a deep run into the playoffs. Where with the Rams, we have offensive line problems right now, and if we can solve those, we have the skill set, the skill guys, and the systems to really make a run.
Yeah, and obviously you have a very in-depth look at them as you're always on the sidelines. What led you to shooting with the Rams and that career you've carved out for yourself?
Well, I started off playing football. I didn't play in the pros, but I played in up until 2 years into college.
Okay.
Had a teammate named Keyshawn Johnson, and once I saw he was getting all the passes, I had a love for photography. It was a hobby, and I used to carry a camera to the sideline, like in my baseball cap. When the defense goes out, sometimes the offense players put on a baseball cap.
Right.
And I saw we lost one game like 56-70. We were number one in the state in offense and last in defense. And Keyshawn must have had 300 yards catching that day. And I'm running around and I look at him. I said, you know what? I should be photographing this guy. And that's kind of where it started.
That's awesome.
That's
awesome.
Yeah.
And so how did that lead to the Rams and you doing your thing at SoFi?
Well, yeah, no, after that, majored in it, started photographing youth sports and hooked up with the Associated Press early on in my career. And, just along the way, learned the game, networked, but really honed in on understanding the subject matter. And in 2016, the Rams moved to LA and tried out with two other photographers and two really good friends of mine. And, got selected to start their photo department.
Last question for me, I'll let Alec go in a second. But what is the Rams? What is a photography tryout look like?
Basically, glad you asked. We basically were asked. It was right when the Rams moved here. They just drafted Jared Goff, and they said, hey, we need pictures of Jared Goff. They brought three of us out there. First guy took about 10 to 12 pictures. And, Gave it to him, very nice pictures. The second guy gave him about 25 pictures. I gave them 250 pictures of every rookie out there, including Jared Goff, Coach Fisher, and everything that I thought that they would need. And that's what basically got the job.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask you more so about the medium of photography and why do you feel it's such a powerful tool of expression?
Well, I mean, the thing you got to think about with imagery is you see it everywhere. You see it in magazines and papers, which are a little bit old, but on, through Instagram, on billboards, on side of buildings, everywhere where somebody can put content that's going to push a message or push, bring awareness to something. There's an image, and you have still images and you have video. Everything with a screen that you can play a video. Obviously, you're going to see video, but it's the same thing with still images. You go to Times Square, New York City, and there's nothing but still images and videos and everything and all kind of content. Where you'll see that content wherever the people are at, basically.
Very nice. And so as you continue to do that, again, you would focus a whole lot on the Rams and the things they've been doing there. We talked before. You developed some of a rapport with Aaron Donald. Can you talk a little bit more about that connection you have with him?
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Donald. I consider him a teammate. Very amazing guy, very brilliant guy, intellectually. I've never met an athlete with that much power and that much speed in a body that size. Very good guy, though, humble. He's the kind of guy that, if you work a blue-collar job or the construction site, he's the guy that brings his lunch pail to lunch and really puts his all into it. Very good guy.
And with that, again, he's a great guy, and you've been able to shoot a whole lot of great people. Something else that I noticed, I guess, taking a step back, you really do shoot shots a while ago of people like Kobe Bryant, most notably. Can you talk about
Yes.
what it was like being in the locker room with him?
What's interesting about Kobe Bryant is, and not to bring the Rams back up in this segment, but I was doing a photo shoot one day with Kobe Bryant and telling Aqib Talib a few years ago, had a shoot with Kobe Bryant. The next day, Aqib Talib asked me, hey, Jeff, how'd the shoot go? Very interested in what it is and almost interested in what little tidbits I can give him about that Mamba mentality. But Kobe Bryant and I met, actually, which is funny. We met when he was 18 years old outside of Roscoe's on Sunset. Okay. And Kobe had just signed his Laker contract. I'm about 2 years older than him, so I'm standing in line with my boys. And Kobe gets out a limo and walks up to us and introduces himself. Hey, I'm Kobe Bryant, whatever else, we shake hands. And then Kobe then went inside and ate, and we waited another 20 minutes outside. But Kobe at least had the decency and the wherewithal to come and be that personable, Obviously, years later, he didn't remember that. That was in like 1996 or so. But as my career grew, I started shooting Laker games. I was on the Laker court from 2004 until about 2014. And, I used to always, before the game, there was a light that shined. And I was trying to capture these cool moments of Kobe sitting on the bench, really just focusing. And for a couple of years, Kobe would just focus. I'd literally be 3 feet from him with the camera, clicking and clicking and clicking and making these really cool shots of him. And then one day on Christmas, I had the audacity to say something to Kobe Bryant. So I said, hey, Kobe, Merry Christmas. And Kobe looks at me and he says, hey, man, thank you. And then goes back to being focused. And so Kobe and I, we didn't really speak that much, but I saw Kobe Bryant at a Dodger game in about 2009, and I'm shooting there with all the media, and all of a sudden, this guy comes up behind me and gives me a hug and says, "What's up, dog?" Or "What's up, boy?" Good luck today on the game. And I'm turning around and it's Kobe Bryant. Wow. And I'm like, wow. Kobe said, "Hey, what's up?" So Kobe then then, eventually retires, opens up a gym, Mamba Sports Academy, which was really Sports Academy out in Thousand Oaks where a lot of Rams players were working out. And I was good with the people that ran the place. And Kobe bought the gym, and we saw each other and just quickly hit it off and started working together.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Along those lines, with working with greats like Kobe Bryant, you've had the chance to work with a lot of other great athletes and entertainers. Is there anyone that stuck out as like your favorite shoot, athlete-wise and entertainer-wise?
Yeah, I've had two very interesting shoots, and both completely contrast each other. I had an opportunity to photograph Barack Obama many years ago while he was still campaigning to be president.
Right.
And I shook his hand before the shoot and just looked at him, and the electricity of brilliance coming off of him was like no other. Like, he was genuinely, you could look in his eyes and tell this guy is going to become the leader of the world.
Wow.
And I actually photographed him twice. The second time, the Secret Service, you got to get vetted if you're going to be around him.
Right.
They put us in a room together, and we not taking pictures. We were just in a room waiting for somebody else, and just sat there. And he's sitting there with his arms crossed like this, and looking at me, nods his head and smiles.
Yeah.
I looked back at him, and I said, so who's your favorite football team? And he went on and talked about, because he's from Chicago, he lives in Chicago, so he's gonna say for political reasons the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about the Bears for a minute. And it was really good. He was very knowledgeable about football. I didn't mention to him cover 2 and, any one-eye safety and, what 11 personnel is. But we had a really good conversation about the Bears. And, he's a really good guy. Very focused, though.
Okay.
But as far as entertainers go, I had a shoot about a year ago with Kanye West. And, yeah. It was crazy. Kanye, came in, after setting up, and the guy that hired me, I kind of said, I don't even want to talk to him. I know how he is. I just, you tell me what to do. So he set up these lights. We're basically shooting him and his high school basketball program. And Kanye walks in. The first thing he says, he looks around. He says, "Hey, we're not using strobes today. We're just going to use natural light." So I look at the guy, because we're in a gym with no windows, and it's concrete walls, and I'm like, okay, all right, it's okay, whatever. My check's going to clear. So anyway, he then preaches to us for about 30 minutes, and then he prays in the middle of the preaching and leaves for 2 hours. So we take the stuff down, and when he comes in, he says, "Hey, I like the metal on the roof, on the ceiling." To the guy standing next to me. He doesn't say that to me. So he's like, "Let's try to incorporate that." And it's 30 feet up. I'm like, he likes that material in the shot. It's 30 feet up. I'm like, all right, it's going to be one of those days. So then I tell him, okay, let's make I come with this idea to make a semicircle with the athletes and put him in the middle and put a fisheye on the camera, put it on the floor, and shoot straight up. So almost like they're a huddle with that behind it.
Yeah.
So I take a shot. He says, "Hey, let me see the picture." So I show him the picture, and he says, "I like that." And then he walks away. Shoot's over. Since he liked it, man, I packed up so quick. Like, I'm out.
I am out of here.
Yeah, that sounds like a whole mess. So
man, it was a hot mess.
What year was this?
Check cleared. I was happy. It's crazy. Crazy, man. The check cleared and everything, so I was good.
Thankfully.
Right. So that seemed to be one of your more difficult shoots. But just to the shots that you have taken, do you have a favorite shot or a few favorite shots that you hold on to dearest?
Well, you know what? What's interesting, over the last year, I've kind of been in a transition away from the Rams and more with the NFL through AP Images, working on content for the league. And so last year, the Rams were on a Monday night. And so that Sunday, the NFL, the AP sent me to Houston to photograph the Seahawks and the Texans. Now, I wasn't really fond of shooting that game because it was the Seahawks and Texans. Neither of them were going anywhere last year.
Sure.
But all of a sudden, when I get there, the Texans decide to open the roof. So I have this shot that I took of DK Metcalf late in the game, falling back with two defenders on him. It's completely backlit, so the stadium goes black behind them, and it's just a halo around the players. Really dynamic shot. That shot came in third place for the NFL's Hall of Fame contest, and it's hanging in Canton, Ohio right now. And so I have a plaque at home. So that's probably one of my favorite shots because it won an award. But there's another shot I got of Aaron Donald last year, sacking Joe Burrow at the end of the game, and that was hanging in the Rams team room for most of the offseason. But that moment of sacking Burrow and solidifying us as Super Bowl champions is probably another one of my favorite shots in the last year.
That's amazing.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Can you kind of describe what it's like to be on the sideline during a game shooting?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's you almost feel like a player in a sense, except you're not wearing a helmet or shoulder pads. No one's beating on you, but I run up to 4 miles a game. One of the offensive linemen a few years ago, Roger Saffold, him and I used to compare notes after the game of what we did. And, I tell him I ran 4 miles or 5 miles, and he would say, heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they run around with cameras and wear knee pads. So, but the thing is, on the sideline, we have our boundaries, we have our rules, and the name of the game is to get the most dynamic and best shot that you can get. And, if a team scores a touchdown, it doesn't matter if I'm shooting for the Rams or for the league. If a team scores a touchdown and I don't get a shot of it, I don't consider myself as scoring. I'm down 1-0 on the game.
Okay.
Although when I do get a touchdown shot and the crowd is going nuts, I turn around and wave to the crowd like they're cheering for me because I just got the shot. But basically, it's a lot of fun. But the competition is down there. There's about 20 of us with cameras down there shooting every game, and the name of the game is to get the best shot. Who can get the best shot, and who can make whoever's hiring us the happiest. And it's a lot of fun. Now, being down there, you have to know the game. I consider myself probably the most football knowledgeable guy down there, not just on statistics and who won what, but I can tell you who won every Super Bowl. If you said who won Super Bowl 12, I'll tell you the Cowboys beat the Broncos in Louisiana at the Superdome. But I can also read defenses. I understand when a team needs to be in a certain defense, what 11 personnel is, what 12 is, or 22 personnel, who runs the West Coast offense, what team runs the EP, how the pistol offense works, air raid, you name it, I can sniff it out, and then stand in the right spot to get the most dynamic shot, given what's going on the field. So it's intense, but as long as you know your X's and O's and know what you're doing, you can win that game.
Yeah.
I got a couple questions with that. Actually, the first question I have is you bring up the intensity of it. We've seen at times players running, making a sideline catch and bumping into somebody or maybe knocking the camera over. Have you ever had anybody run into you and knock yourself over by accident?
Or Devontae Adams just pushing over the photographer.
Understanding the game has allowed me to never get hit in a game before. Now, I do keep 1 foot back so that if I do get hit, I don't get clobbered. And so maybe I make ESPN the photographer who knocked the player back, but hopefully that never happens. But shooting basketball for Laker games, we used to get landed on and hit all the time by NBA players. So when Kobe Bryant would come our way and fall and, hit the ground, we would kind of stick our hands out to brace him. But, back then when LeBron was with the Cavs, we'd let him hit the wood because we were all LA people. But Derek Fisher used to run into us all the time. Sasha Vujacic from the Lakers back in 09, 08 years. Meta's really large. When he crashes into you, he's like, all he needs to do is paint him blue. He look like an avatar. He's huge. But for football, when my career started, I was standing on a sideline, used to stand up, now I kneel. Junior Seau, this is how long ago it was, 1999. he pushed somebody and did something and was running and didn't stop running out of bounds through us. And I stuck my hand out just to, you stick your hand out to try to slow somebody down. I mean, I stuck my hand out and started pulling it back, and he hit my hand with his shoulder pad, and I swear he almost ripped my hand off. That guy came with so much speed. I was like, I will never get hit. I'm running. And right now I kind of stay in and get the shot, but I always try to stand somewhere where I know the down and distance and say, hey, if they're going to run out of bounds and take out a photographer, it's going to be in this spot, and I just move away from that place.
What was that shot that you mentioned, the DK shot in Houston? Was that a shot that you saw coming, or that just kind of fell in your lap?
So yeah, with that shot at DK, I knew what was going to happen in that shot and where to set up. Basically, I moved all the way to the left of, if I'm facing the field and the offense is coming at me, I moved all the way to the left where the optimum lighting position would be to get everybody fully backlit and create that shot. And I understood that where DK Metcalf lines up, that's where the ball was going to be thrown. And so Russell Wilson actually went that way 3 times before throwing the pass. I got the shot. And, a lot of quarterbacks like to throw, you got 3 receivers, X, Y, and Z. The Z position is the front side of the quarterback. And so when they're lobbing into the end zone, they lock the lob up that way. Obviously, in that shot, the Texans knew they were going that way because they were double covering DK, and Russell Wilson still threw the ball. But because he has pinpoint accuracy, not like this year, he was able to get the shot, get the ball in there.
Is it hard sometimes to not?
Hold on, he stuck that jab in there. I don't know if you caught that.
What?
I caught it though. I'm gonna just leave it alone.
Yeah,
I'm gonna just leave it alone. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Alec.
I was just gonna say, is it hard sometimes to not maybe get caught in the moment as a fan of football or as a fan of a specific team and try to make sure you're focused on getting the shots too?
What's interesting? The very first game I shot, the entire first quarter I was looking in the stands because I was just so amazed to be on the field, be standing on the field with the camera. That it wasn't until the second quarter when I started really taking pictures. But I think having the mindset of you're part of the game, and you're here not only in your mindset that you're here competing against yourself really to make the best shot that you can, and put it in the sense that it's your game as well. You tend to not get caught up in, oh my God, this is a game. After the game, I usually go up to the players and just congratulate them, and especially if I got a good shot of them, I'll say, hey, I got a really good shot of you. Thank you. I thank them. And a lot of players look at me like, wow, this guy's coming up thanking us. He ain't asking for an autograph. He's not saying, hey, man, it's great to meet you and this and that. I just say, hey, thanks. You don't even have to tell me your name. I'm not even going to tell you who I am. I'm just going to say thanks after the game because it's like you just competed in your own mind. And I don't know if a lot of photographers really think that way. And it's just, I think the mentality you need to have to really, when a guy is making a sideline catch or something, not to cheer. Like Cooper Kupp on the last shot in the Super Bowl. They went to the other side a bunch of times, and I got a shot from the other side of the end zone, but at the same time, just keeping the camera on him, not wavering from, I got to get the shot, then I got to get the celebration, and I got to get everything because that's my job and that's what I'm here for. Never losing sight of that causes me not to celebrate. Where you might be able to look on that and see some people, start cheering like, oh my God, we're going to win the game. And it's like, no, you're down there working. You're not supposed to have that mentality.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely amazing what you do. The last photography question that I had was that recently, I guess it was discovered that former MLB pitcher Randy Johnson does some photography now. Have you ever encountered him on the sideline shooting?
No. Well, here's the thing. Not only is he a professional photographer, but so is Griffey Jr. So
really?
Right. Griffey hasn't he hasn't been put out there the way Randy Johnson was a couple weeks ago. But about 5 years ago, I also shoot the Long Beach Grand Prix every year. Randy Johnson came out to shoot the Grand Prix with us on our PR team, who shoots all the stuff for the programs and everything. And we shot, and then we actually had lunch together talking about sports photography. Never once did I mention that he was a pro baseball player to him. Never talked about his accolades on that, or that I was a big fan. We talked shutter speed, f-stops. What did you see around turn 2 or turn 9 or whatever? And, we talked about him shooting concerts. We did talk a little bit about the access that he's able to get because he's Randy Johnson. But at the same time, he's respectful of the craft, and he's a very good photographer with a very good eye. Talk about his love of photography, but him wanting to do, something good. Basically, justice for him being there, show that he belongs and capture some images from those perspectives that a lot of us just would never be able to get. And he's actually taking some really amazing images.
He's a bit taller, right? So does that play an advantage, or would you prefer to be a little bit shorter as you take
the problem he has is that monopods are made for people who are 6 feet tall, and I'm 6'1". But I kneel now, so my monopod's only about 3 feet. I said it's about 3 feet, but he's gonna have some problems if he has to stand up and shoot. Yeah. And but that comes with territory. I have another friend who's that tall, and he makes it work. They just sit down if they need to.
Okay.
There was a couple of athletes too that have been on the side. I think Kevin Durant was a sideline photographer at the Super Bowl one of these past couple of years too.
He's at Super Bowl 50. What's funny about him is I sat next to him for about 10 minutes at the Super Bowl 50 and talked to him about photography and different things. And we're in the Bay Area, and he still plays for Oklahoma, and he's thinking about coming over to the Lakers. I'm a huge Laker fan, and my wife was gonna kill me when I told her about this, but I could not at the moment ask him if he was coming to the Lakers. And a few months later, he signed with in the offseason, he signed with the Warriors.
Right.
But I could have right then made a huge difference with the Lakers if I'd have just said, "Hey, JC, how about the Lakers? I'll shoot next to you more often than just this." But really good guys, really deep into photography, and the thing I tell a lot of celebrities and athletes and people who want to get into the field is, do it for the love of photography. If you love taking pictures and if you love creating imagery, then by all means, a lot of times the athletes, because they know more about the game, have an advantage over a lot of people who never played sports. Unless the person there's a lot of really good photographers who never played sports, but they have that advantage of understanding where the ball is going. And Randy Johnson, Ken Griffey Jr., and KD, Kevin Durant, obviously have that edge.
Yeah,
love that. That's awesome. We appreciate you for sharing all of that with us. We know you guys got some things to get to. So just the last question I had, circling back to where we started. Are the Rams gonna be okay the rest of this season, or what?
I mean, the Rams are gonna be what the Rams are.
Okay.
They should be okay. I mean, you fix the offensive line problem, and then before you know it, you're getting more first downs, which means you're getting more scoring opportunities with a better with an offensive line. Also, that keeps your defense off the field. What you'll notice, not just with the Rams, but with a number of teams around the league, is if a team goes 3 and out over and over and over again, eventually the other team's going to score on the defense because the defense is tired. What you need to keep in mind is, as a team, as a team spends more offense, as an offense goes 3 and out, your defense tends to stay on the field longer, which means the opposite team is going to get many more opportunities to score. So got to fix that offensive line. Other than that, I think the Rams are going to be great. We'll make the playoffs hopefully and make some noise. See what happens.
Looking forward to that, and looking forward to more photos you get to share as you continue doing your thing. Again, thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate that. Alec, you have any final questions?
No, I guess just one last question, because you touched on you shot at the Bengals-Rams Super Bowl. Is there another favorite event of yours that you've covered, or was that it? Or?
You know what? I mean, I've photographed 12 Super Bowls, and I'm slated to shoot this one for the NFAP this coming up.
Mhm.
But if I had to choose another favorite event, it would probably be another Super Bowl. Super Bowl 51 was a lot of fun to shoot. You know, the Patriots were down, and I hate the Patriots. Patriots are down 28-3, and you know you look up at the screen and you see Jermaine Dupri celebrating. They're showing all the celebrities from Atlanta. Usher is celebrating, and Atlanta is going nuts. They show pictures of Atlanta and them celebrating because they're up 28-3,
Right.
and then you know then the Falcons get a penalty or something happens in a sack. Next you know, instead of kicking a field goal to go up 31-3, they're punting.
Yeah.
And so you got Patriots fans getting up out of their seats, and I'm walking around all into the game, and I'm yelling at Patriots fans, "Sit back down! I've seen this story before." I've seen because I was assisting with the Niners back when we made it to Super Bowl 47 with Colin Kaepernick,
Okay.
and we were down 17-0 at halftime to them. And the week before that, the Falcons were up 24-0 on somebody, on the Seahawks, I believe. And every time the Falcons would just blow leads, and so it was really fun watching the Patriots come back.
Mhm.
Even though I cannot stand them,
Yeah.
that's just the only time I've ever been amazed of Tom Brady. The absolute only time.
Yeah.
Every other
The only
time,
Okay.
yeah, Joe Montana is the greatest quarterback of all time. Jerry
Talk
Rice
about
is
it.
the GOAT. Yeah.
All right.
But Peyton Manning's better than Peyton Manning's better than Tom Brady, and
Hey,
you know.
he's getting
So,
his
but that
hot
day,
takes
I
off.
was
I
pretty
like
impressed.
it.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
I'm saying Peyton Manning is probably the greatest quarterback to ever play the game,
Okay.
and then Joe Montana.
Okay.
That's fine with me.
Peyton
I'm
Manning's
I got
like
arguments
six.
for it. So.
I'm
saying
good with that.
Yeah, Tom Brady's like 6th or 7th on the list. So
Woo. Woo.
there you go. Yeah.
That's
All right.
fine
Yeah,
with
you
me.
gotta put a
I'm anti-Brady
Hey,
too, so
I
I'm
mean,
good.
you could go with Dan Marino, Warren Moon. I mean, we can go on and on and on.
Dang.
So, you know, yeah.
All right.
Got you. Okay.
There you go.
There it is. So again, we really appreciate you for joining us today and love the insight you gave us in photography and all that really goes on. And with that, I mean, again, we appreciate you for taking the time today with us. So Jeff
Absolutely.
Lewis, you guys has
Absolutely.
joined us again, and it definitely was a great one. So again, thank you, Jeff, for joining the show. Again, follow him online, give him all the love. Try to see if you can follow him on the sidelines one day as you're watching Rams games and things. And again, just a lot of great stuff come from him going forward. So another episode in the books for you guys. Follow us online on IG and TikTok at Section.300. Follow us on Twitter at Section Sports. Subscribe to the show. I appreciate all the love you guys show us, and we'll be back again shortly to talk about all the other things going on in the NFL as well. So appreciate y'all. Again, thank you, Jeff, and we out of here, man. Peace.
Thanks for having me.